Michael O'Connor takes out the Manly side here at home at Brookvale today. A Sea Eagles outfit that has the best defence in the Winfield Cup of 91. And it's been tough trying to break this line. In fine form, some of their stars back after injury the last couple of weeks. Ridge at fullback, Stokes, Ronson, O'Connor, Iro, Tuvey and Hasler. Now the backs, the forwards, Cunningham, Roberts, White, Hosking, Dunford and Bella, and the coach, Graham Lowe. The skipper, Michael O'Connor. And now the St George side make their appearance at Brookvale Oval, a chance to stay at the top of the Winfield Cup with a win here in this all-important clash. They came back from the dead last week against Western Suburbs, but they know full well that they can't let Manly any such luxuries like they did Western Suburbs. South, Walford, Beattie the skipper, Coyne, Wade, Potter and New, and the forwards Gill, Goulet, Fullerton, Smith, Spring, Collins, Osborne. The coaches Brian Smith. Referee Mr. Greg McCallum. Down it comes to Osborne. Standing deep the front rower to take it to the Manly defence. Straight out of there is Cameron Wade. Fullerton Smith charging onto it. Roberts in front of him. Big shoulder charge. Collins, our MMI man of the match last week. David New didn't quite meet that as he would have liked. Down for Stokes. Ridge back there with him. Stokes and Walford will be an interesting clash this afternoon. Ridge just working it away 40 metres out from the Manly line. Tuvey can't improve the situation any. As I said, Manly with the best defence in the Winfield Cup of 91. 54 for Manly, 34 against. St George much better in attack, but worse off in that defensive line. Wayne Pearce, how do you see it?
Well, I'm leaning towards Manly, mainly because of their defence.
Now a penalty. They're trying to strip the ball from Martin Bella. I think it's Peter Spring that's earned the ire of McCallum. It has. An early chance here for Ridge. Ridge. Practice makes perfect. So Ridge gets the Manly ball rolling. The Sea Eagles 2-0 over St George. It's amazing, isn't it, Wayne, just how much some sides have the wood on others.
Exactly, and all clubs have their bogey sides. I mean, as far as Balmain's concerned, we've always had trouble with Manly, but Balmain take on Illawarra today, and Illawarra have not beaten Balmain since that same year, 1986.
Arms, fingers, everything crossed, eh?
You're not wrong.
The Sea Eagles bring it away from their own line. Cunningham. Stokes in there to do some work amongst the forwards. Good defence from David New. Also Potter. Graham Lowe, the Manly coach, looking on from up high. He asked us to send his best wishes to his daughter Sarah, celebrating her 17th birthday today. Good luck to you, Sarah. Manly get it to 32 away from their own line, but it's on the last tackle now. Ridge under pressure. Back to assist is O'Connor. Good support play. A good chasing line from Manly too. Everybody's getting down there. South to be trapped in his 22.
And Manly making full use of that breeze. They've got this breeze in the first half, and they'll want to use it as well because conditions are such that there's some heavy cloud coming in, and if the rain does in fact settle, that will be a big advantage if that rain hits to whoever's in front at the time.
Now, a Shepherd against St George. Well, you can't give Matthew Ridge too many opportunities, as we saw from a long way out. Now, Coyne straight across the paddock. Collins was still coming back on side. I don't know that he...
Well, in my opinion, he didn't impede the defender, and that's basically the way the rule should be interpreted. A penalty should only be given in that situation if the defender is impeded.
Ridge looking for another goal. He's headed back to his own side of halfway. Manly, thanks to Matthew Ridge, 2 goals, 4 points to 0. Great to have you back aboard with us today, especially all those Viewers down in the Southland region, in Invercargill, who have got their own competition underway. I spoke to them this morning on radio. We wish you all the best for your own season down south. Ridge on the 22. Tooby, a little pocket dynamo, one of the strongest little men in the game.
He's very strong, and so is this man at dummy half, Des Hasler. He's a tremendous dummy half runner.
Hasler quickly away for Cunningham. He'll back up. Well, he's fumbled it. Now it's kept alive by St George to spring.
Hit of a shepherd there too.
Straight across the paddock heads Cameron Wade. Osborne on the fringe. Osborne nearly had a chance there to Goulet. He couldn't slip it. Potter searching wide to Beattie. Beattie dummying. The defence up quickly outside. He had no options left. Goulet. Stop. Restart. And a good run from Goulet keeps it alive for Fullerton Smith. A couple of times they've threatened on the fringe. Last tackle. Switch from Collins. Collins looking for a runner. He can't find any support. And it's tidied up with a handover.
And great tackle there from Owen Cunningham. He really drove into Osborne. Left him with no option but to take the tackle.
Ridge. Bit of a mess around the play of the ball. Gill might have been penalised, but Stokes gets out of there with about a 12-metre gain.
And that's where Western Suburbs made a lot of ground last week from dummy half. The big St George forwards didn't move up consistently, and they can't afford to do that today against Manly.
Bella. Hit and met solidly by Osborne. 4-0 Manly over St George. Dunford. Pass back for Hasler, quickly for Hosking. Hosking back for Hasler, knocked down by St George. Manly regathered with 6 more. O'Connor out of dummy half. Keep on trying to work it there. Roberts. Tooby. Turn back up the middle. Now Iro coming and looking for some work. One of the toughest propositions to put down in the Winfield Cup.
A big break from Iro, but have a look at the Manly side. They're in dribs and drabs at the moment. No backline at all. They want to get their act smartened up there.
Well, they've done just that thanks to Ridge again, who has started this game on fire for Manly. Good kick from Ridge. The angle to the sideline. Manly just working their way into the St George half. And then Ridge puts them only about 9 metres out from their own line. New. Gill. Now, the trainer has rushed out to check with Ricky Walford. Notice that Walford has gone from his normal left wing out to the right wing. Whether, in fact, he's come to this side to check for an injury, I'm not sure. Ridge. Goulet has got him in a good tackle. Kick through by Osborne. To the sideline. Will force the scrum to go down. In the lower grades today, reserves went to St George 22-0 over Manly. And Manly's President's Cup getting on the board with a 20-6 victory over St George. Against the feed. Good performance here from Wayne Collins. Quickly, Gill broke. South into the back line. St George keen to shift this ball around. Fullerton Smith driving low as Tooby. He unloads for Coyne, and Coyne can't keep it alive. New. Both sides doing a lot of running from dummy half. St George get their first penalty inside the 5 against Manly.
St George really playing the game at 100 miles an hour here and having Manly backpedaling. If they can keep that momentum up, then they're in this game with a real big chance.
Well, here's the problem with Walford. Beattie's rushed over to speak to Walford because here's a chance at goal. He was headed off the field for a moment with the trainer to check out an injury. Now he's been called back for a chance at 2.
Hopefully it's not a hamstring injury. That will really hamper his kicking.
Walford to put an injury to the back of his mind with his first attempt. He took it nice and easy, but he sent it straight down the middle. He's headed off the field, I think. But he's got 2 points. Manly 4, St George 2. Down deep. South. Made some fine breaks for the Saints against West last weekend. There are many fullbacks in rugby league these days who take the field in a headgear.
Probably he and Jonathan Docking are the only two that I can recall ever wearing headgear at fullback on a consistent basis.
Roberts came flying in over the top and missed there with Fullerton Smith. Gill fumbles. So Walford offers some attention. Apparently it's a thigh injury.
Well, that was a big kick, that goal, when you consider that he kicked it with a thigh injury.
And it was interesting that he only just got the distance from about 24, 25 metres out.
True.
Penalty against the Saints. Hasler with a quick restart here, down a blindside. Beattie's there to stop him. I don't think there was any
Good
way
thing there from Des Hasler, because the differential penalty meant that they couldn't kick for goal. He took the odds to a quick tap.
Well, Beattie wasn't back 10. He could have been picked up easily again. Roberts, support play from Manly is good. Chris White gets there. 13 metres out from the St George line. Manly with their best chance now. O'Connor shaping to kick, dummying across the field. Tuvey taken by Collins. Starting to fan out a little bit more in attack. They've been bunched up to this. Hasler. Hasler taken by Goulet. Osborne down low. Ridge. Ridge looking for a field goal. He couldn't get it on his right foot. Very casually he turned to his left. Created a little bit of space. A touch of class here from Matthew Ridge. He couldn't get onto that right. He said, my left foot will do. Great play from Ridge. And he scored all the points. 5-2 Manly over St George.
St George can improve their kicking game. Wayne Collins really doesn't have any options or decoys in terms of the forwards taking the attention from him.
Well, he's doing his job, isn't he, Wayne? That's his second win against the feed.
It's a great effort.
Potter to his feet now quickly. Collins giving his St George side a real chance here in possession. Coyne kicks ahead. Was he put down by Matthew Ridge? McCallum looked back over his shoulder. No touch judge in.
The crowd disagree too.
The St George fans not quite so happy about it. McCallum calling play on. Ridge has regathered his composure and got back to dummy half. Now the kick coming up from Coyne. He's entitled to stand his ground, Ridge.
I think there was might have been a little heel thrown at the back there.
I just wonder if there was a trip. Yes. Now Walford, after that thigh injury, coming back to rejoin the fray. Things warming up here as St George threatening. Down to the last. Potter's flying through, nearly got there. Ridge got the kick in, though, down to South. He beats the tackle of Dunford. And Manly, no real advantage from the kick now.
But Matthew Ridge, you've got to take your hat off to him. He was under enormous pressure there. Still got the kick away. If need be, he can kick with left or right foot downtown as well.
Collins thrown to ground by Bella. Dummy from Fullerton Smith. 5-2. Manly over St George. It's been all goals. Spring. Back for Collins. Up the middle. Got a bad ball away. Penalty to Manly. Simple call for McCallum to Coyne. Just get off him and let's get on with the play.
It's been a pretty tight game up until now. There's been a lot of tension out there. I've got a feeling that this game will start to open up very shortly, and if Manly can sustain some pressure here, they're in with a big chance. Let's have a look at what set play they've got on.
Osborne. He's been looking for Bella. It's been a good clash between the two up the middle. Hosking. Again Osborne. Iro. You've got to be awake to when this man decides to run up the middle. Quickly he can turn the defence round. Hasler. Tuvey. Tuvey. Well, that was a bad ball. He turned his back to give a pass on the inside. Hasler was there, though. Hasler Hasler picking up the dregs to the corner. No way. He didn't get down. The touch judge right there. Great cover defence. But after looking as if this was going to break down, Hasler picked up the dregs. He put his foot on the accelerator. South was coming across, coin flying. They put him off balance, and they kept him up in the air and over the sideline. Spring. He survived that one, the Saints, and an important one to survive too. Slight breeze at the back of Manly, and one of their big fans, the great jockey Malcolm Johnston. Maybe he might take the whip out to this Manly side in this
I want to know who he's backed, or if he has backed them.
He'll be trying to get this Manly side home here this afternoon. Ridge. O'Connor from dummy half. O'Connor. Great footwork again of his. It will be interesting to see how Graham Lowe uses Cliffy Lyons on that interchange one.
It will be. Cliffy Lyons is the sort of player that despite being a little bit overweight, probably a little unfit, he's the sort of impact player that could have devastating results in periods of 4 or 5 or even 10 minutes.
With some of the things with Jeff Tooby and the way the organisation is breaking down out wide, it's already showing, isn't it, with Lyons?
For sure. They're lacking runners, and that's obviously the result of organisation and the lack of communication and talk out there.
Well, talk of the man. Cliffy Lyons doing some stretching. Hasler. Tuvey. This time he finds a good runner in Ronson. Tuvey up the middle for a gap. Tuvey still going. Quickly to his feet. Dunford. Ridge. Ridge down to the in goal. Chasing is Cunningham. It bounces well. Walford is there. Bouncing well for Manly. If somebody just had been some support on the inside of Cunningham. Beattie. A couple of close calls for St George.
And once again, another example of off-the-cuff play there. There was a little kick there by Ridge, which obviously no communication, no chases, and you can't really threaten if you don't have chases on a kick.
Elliott. Elliott gets it back a little bit dangerously for New. This is where Manly is starting to try and take this game into overdrive. Gill put a bit of pressure on St George, and they come up with a fumble. The most important scrum of the match to go down right here. Manly with the all-important feed, and a big option either side of the scrum here.
Very dangerous position to hold to have a scrum. This centre field position, very threatening.
Hasler. He couldn't get out of there quick enough. Screaming for a penalty, the Manly fans, as White heads it towards the post and gets about 11 metres away. Right in front of the post as well. Roberts. Dunford to Hasler. Tuvey. Cunningham. Iro from the far wing into the back line. Back for Ridge. Swivels. He remains on the 10-metre line. The St George defence holding. Tuvey very wide on the first receiver. Lyons is out there. He got it quickly to Iro. Trying to give this Manly side the direction they need to post a try, Cliffy Lyons.
But that's also an example, Graham, of how the interchange rule can tend to want, when you throw players on there, it can tend to throw players off because they feel obliged to get into the action straight away, yet their timing is not quite there. It takes a few minutes to get your timing up.
Elliott chased, put down by Dunford with assistance from Roberts. New. Kick down between Iro and Ridge. Iro's going to return the favour. Send his own defenders back there. He's chasing himself. South hasn't quite made his mind up what he's going to do. Got 10 metres. Ridge made the kick and Ridge is charging down on him. That's not such a good kick. Manly can bring it back inside St George territory from here. O'Connor across the paddock. Straightens. O'Connor. O'Connor's got support inside. O'Connor doesn't need anybody. What a sensational effort from Michael O'Connor. We've waited quite a while for Brookvale to come to life. And that footwork, the magic footwork of Michael O'Connor. South was forced to kick. Not a good kick on the MMI replay. It gave Manly good position here because they were straight back into St George territory. They went across the paddock. Nobody kept the line on the inside. O'Connor stepped right through. And South, who kicked, he had to rush across. He was on the wrong foot. And O'Connor, beautifully balanced inside of South. He heard the call from Lyons. He said, come and plant it right underneath the black dot.
And you can put this down to the wrong option from Darren South. Kicking into the breeze, it was always going to be fatal or dangerous. Michael O'Connor made sure it was fatal. Stepped through. He's one of the best steppers in the game. So fleet-footed. How many times do you see Michael O'Connor score tries like this? He does it consistently, and he's done it again today, and it's put Manly further in front.
Well, it's nothing new, is it, for St George to be behind, going close to half-time?
They're used to it, but the thing that's a little different this week to last week is that they'll have the use of a breeze in the second half, although it has dropped off, and that will indeed favour Manly.
Overcast conditions, pretty humid in fact. Manly 12 metres out from their own line. Lydiard out there as well on interchange.
And Cliffy Lyons doing plenty of talking out there, plenty of organising, and the Manly side can visually lift. You can see them visually lift.
Got that all-important try. Now Dunford from dummy half. St George go to sleep a little. Iro takes over. That's a good passage of play from Manly to get it away from their own line to halfway. Now Lyons with the kick. South will run this one. Very important time for St George. They've had a try scored against them. They've been turned around with a kicking game. They can't afford any more mistakes right here and now. Elliott to play it right on the 22. Collins, he looked one way then the other. Now he finds some support through Fullerton Smith.
They've got to follow Collins all day. He makes enough breaks from dummy half to score half a dozen tries in the game, but he's lacking support.
Ridge running back towards his own line, takes it beautifully. Look at the missed tackles against St George.
And most of those missed tackles are through the centre of the ruck as well.
That will lose you any football game. Ronson. Osborne took some time to get off him. Bad pass from Iro. And just pushed out from Lyons to O'Connor. Untidy play. Lydiard. Lydiard was looking for support himself.
He was the game breaker last week as well. Let's see if he has some similar effect today. He's very pacey, very dangerous from broken play. So St George want to make sure they've got a big chasing game if they kick to him.
South was protecting his own in-goal line, showing the strength of that Ridge kick. And South ankle tap from behind by Ronson. Good tactics from Manly, good chasing. Real pressure being applied to this St George side. Neil Tierney out there for the Saints. Elliott. Bit of one-out play amongst the forwards.
Not much support play there at all. Let's have a look here.
Tierney.
Once again, no support.
3 Manly defenders in the tackle. Spring. Can Manly apply any pressure to the kicker now? Dunford down on New. Now Goulet on the last tackle. He kept it alive for Coyne out over the sideline. And it's a handover. And again, you've got to hand it to the Manly defence.
It's a dangerous ploy, trying to run the ball out of your own half, getting towards half-time.
Lydiard. Quick play the ball. St George nearly caught offside. The crowd was calling for it. Tuvey up the middle quickly. Inside that danger zone of the last 5 minutes before half-time. Roberts got it back, then knocked back by St George to their own line. Potter. Potter with a good run. Manly let them off the hook there. 11-2 they lead though. Long ball out to Elliott. Spring. There wasn't much in it here between these two sides at Cogra. In the reversal of the round last year, 10-6, Manly won. And in '89, it was 24-20 to Manly here at Brookvale. Tierney. Good ball inside for Potter, who went without it. So the occasion that they get there, they waste it. John Jones making a replacement for Manly. Cunningham to earn a rest on the sideline.
Very hot, humid conditions, as you said, Graham, here today, and it's not surprising to see the coaches using the interchange rule for maximum effect, giving those bigger players, plenty of rest and plenty of recovery.
Lions. Dangerous ball to Ronson. We've got our own interchange going. You're in the box for Billy Anderson, who's still out crook.
Yeah, and we wish Billy all the best. His voice is not too good. He's got a bad dose of the flu. It's going around.
As long as he doesn't pass it on. Good luck to you, Bill.
And just looking at the Manly side out there, it looks as though Tony Iro has moved into the second row. And that'll be interesting coming up to half-time. Expect a couple of big runs from him.
Hasler. He's had the ball stripped by Tierney. St George might get a good chance just before half-time here. Collins. New. Beattie. No doubt about this Manly defence, not offering too many chances. Fullerton Smith.
Much more committed than they have been in the past few years. In fact,
now,
as they commit a penalty.
All year long we've been calling for incidents in this play of the ball. And he's got John Jones for just trying to push him down as he was getting up to play it and causing the fumble.
Once again raises the issue of should players be sin-binned for infringements such as that when teams are in attacking positions. I know they do sin-bin, the referees do sin-bin the players on some occasions, but in my opinion it's not used widely enough.
That's right, let's get rid of it. Now Walford, 32 metres out. 1 from 1 for Walford. Nice and overcast here on the Manly Peninsula. Hopefully the rain will stay away. The leading point scorer in the Winfield Cup, Ricky Walford, meets it nicely. Good kicking display all round here at Brookvale so far. Manly 11, St George now 4. Although it's becoming a real trend, isn't it, in the Winfield Cup that teams are coming from behind nearly every week to win the match.
It is, and it was a great comeback last week by St George. He's obviously a coach that thinks about what he says at half-time, and it often has maximum effect, and that's really what's going to happen here. St George have really been outgunned in this first half. I know they've been running into a light breeze. It's actually dropped off somewhat since the start of the game, but St George there dropped the ball.
I wonder if there's time left here for Manly. They've got to keep it alive. The siren has actually sounded. Hasler, chance to the corner, Lydiard. The ball was thrown at his knees. Desi Hasler threw it low and hard to Lydiard. It never set up for him. But Manly still have their nose in front here at half-time. Good kicking from Ridge. And a fine try to Michael O'Connor sees them take the break here. The Sea Eagles over St George, 11 points to 4. It has been a trait of St George so far in the Winfield Cup of 91 to come from behind. That's the way we see the second half, 11-4 to Manly. They had to make 116 first half tackles, the Saints. Osborne was 17. Michael Potter, interestingly, at 5'8", was 16. Tuvey at 5'8", 18 tackles for Manly out of 87. So the 5'8s with a big workload as we get underway. Ridge. It'll be interesting to see how he handles his kicking game in this second half. The breeze has died. Stokes. And the player interchange. They made 7 changes, St George, 3 only from the Sea Eagles. I wonder if that could be a key in the second half for the Saints as well.
Well, I think it could be. Obviously, the St George pack is a little bit bigger than the Manly pack, probably not quite as mobile and maybe not as fit. And that's really showing up in defence. And I'm sure Coach Brian Smith will continue to use the interchange a lot more than the Manly side, purely and simply because of the fact the forwards need a bit of a breather.
South. Lions put the kick down. He's chasing South across the field and finishes him off. 40 metres out from the St George line. Ball was thrown behind Goulet to Osborne. Osborne and Bella have chased each other all over Brookvale Oval. Fullerton Smith. He heard a call. He pulled his hands away and left it alone. There was nobody outside him. Goulet.
Goulet looking for plenty of work. He's really a player that's improved in a big way since he's come over from rugby union, and he's trying to inspire this side today.
Ricky Walford, player that can inspire with a great run. 32 out from the Manly line now. Last tackle, Beattie. Midfield bomb. It might be too deep. Give Ridge the opportunity with plenty of time. He's finished off by Fullerton Smith. Very overcast conditions. It's gotten a lot darker here at Brookvale. The lights are on out here. The lights nearly went out. Jeff Turvey hammered in that tackle.
But he just bounces straight back up. He's like an elastic band.
Little man. That really does possess some strength. Iro controlled that beautifully to keep the ball alive. Turvey thought there could have been a penalty there for Manly. Coyne had hold of Turvey as he was trying to back up. Chip ahead from Lyons. Good little chip and quick thinking for O'Connor. O'Connor tried to get it back to Lyons, but the ball was intercepted.
Well, twice in that set of 6 tackles, Cliffy Lyons was involved, and twice they almost looked like making a clear break.
Ball's touched. 6 more tackles for St George. It was not a good start for them. Forced back to their own 22 in this second half. Fumble from their skipper, Beattie. Bella's got it. Here's real problems now. Crowd gets to their feet, calling for a quick try from Manly. Turvey showed it. St George hang off him. He nearly got through. They were looking at his support players and forgot about the man with the ball. Roberts takes it to 10 metres. They force him back 11-12. Now it falls for Ronson. 6 more tackles. The ball was touched by St George. Lyons. Very casually out for Stokes. Lyons stays there a dummy half. Looking for a runner. Bella was flat-footed. They weren't really set at all, Manly. Iro. Up the middle. Goulet quickly to him, but Roberts supported him.
Manly still struggling to find a back line out there. It's something that's is a little bit alien to them.
Hasler. Hosking. Hasler. Lyons. The long ball out to Stokes. He gets it back to Lyons. Hasler keeping the ball alive, but they've gone nowhere. Back to Lyons once more. Across the field. The chip over the top of Walford. And Turvey's on him. So a little bit of basketball style play from Manly.
The St George side struggling to regroup here. They've got to try and get some hard forwards hitting over the advantage line like that, but not only one at a time. They've got to go in 2s, 3s and 4s to try and break through this Manly defence.
Collins. Osborne quickly for Goulet. Good step. Turvey hung on to him down low. Spring. Down a blindside for South to beat Bella. Chasing from behind Chris White. He needed to get there too. New. Better from St George. Over the head of Ridge. Very tidy fullback. (11-4) Manly. Iro. He beat a couple of defenders as he went across field and then drew 3 more to him. Roberts looking for a lot of work at the start of this second half. Lyons putting his hand into everything. Ronson. O'Connor flying onto it and then crashed by Cameron Wade. Bella. Bit of a charge down the blind side, but a charge that ends up over the sideline. He won't be happy with this run.
No, he won't. He's actually left himself with no room to move in at all. Forced over the sideline, but I'm wondering if Martin Bella's actually carrying an injury today. He looks to be limping at the moment, but he hasn't been involved in the hard hit-ups, the hard work as he normally is. So there's a little, as far as I'm concerned, there's a little bit of a question mark over his fitness.
Yeah. I'd like to have been involved with that little chat there with Greg McCallum. Bit of a warning for something involving Matthew Ridge. Potter. South. Taken by Ridge, who maintained his position up in the front line. Fullerton Smith.
Now, the Saints really aren't having any success at all trying to go through the rucks. What they've got to do is move this ball around and try and penetrate out wide.
David New. It'll be up to New and Potter to get that back line moving. Osborne up the middle for Darren South. Collins. One of his little darts from dummy half, picks up about 6 metres. Last tackle, though, for St George. Beattie. Very small chip. Fell into open spaces for him. He just couldn't regather. It's a handover. He picked that there was a little gap in there behind the line. Something different at least. Something to give them more to think about, Manly. Lions. A floater. Bounced up nicely for Tony Iro. That could have been dangerous.
Well, Manly showing their hand in that they're prepared to throw the ball around in their own territory. And Cliffy Lyons, the instigator there, he's looking to do something a little bit different, looking to try and spark this side.
Penalty to Manly. Fitness is the concern for Cliffy Lyons. His touch may be a little bit astray, but he is trying things.
It's also the concern for a number of players out there. Ian Roberts, he's been plagued with a groin problem for much of this season, but he's toiling away.
This is a great run from Bella. That's what we're used to from Martin Bella to get them started. Down to the 22 now. Tuvey had to throw about a 25-metre pass to Lyons. Ridge. The Lions handed it off to Ridge. He was going nowhere but down. Roberts. Gets it out the back now for Ronson. Hosking. This is their chance to go wide now. Roberts wants one more. He hears the call from Lyons. Numbers here for Manly. Turvey was put to ground just as he was about to go wider. Lyons kicking out for Stokes to try and climb. Stokes gets up there, knocked it back into the hands of Beattie. So close, but Beattie was on the spot. The angle was across for Stokes, who climbed above Walford, but he knocked it back into the hands of Beattie. Could have gone anywhere. Good defence from Hasler as he upends Collins.
Well, the intensity of this match really building as St George come up with a fumble through Peter Gill.
Ian Roberts just gave him a pat on the back, as much to say, bad luck, Peter, but thank you.
And will Saints pay the penalty for this? I mean, a dangerous position once again for a scrum.
Turvey to halfback with the feed, and Hasler at lock forward with Lyons out there. Roberts very quickly from the scrum. One of the fittest men there is, regardless of the fact that he's been troubled by that groin injury.
It's a tribute to his commitment and his courage that he can keep going week in, week out with such a severe problem. They'll have a look at this Manly backline, how deep it is.
Can they do something with it? O'Connor, Ronson. Well, he received a ball that really shouldn't have been passed. Walford was sweating on him. Jones. Last tackle. O'Connor to the in goal. Is it too deep? Walford's there. Walford will have to run it dead, so good kick from O'Connor. The sole aim of that one for Manly to get it back, and they're just trying to wear away at this St George side. Walford was hoping that it was going to go dead, but he realised that he had to do something about it. He heard the footsteps of Stokes. This is where this interchange might be important.
For sure, if Manly can sustain this sort of pressure on St George, it's really going to take its toll on their D forwards. They tackled very well in that set of 6 tackles, but they're going to have to do it again here, and it really does start to mount up.
Down to Ronson. (11-4) Manly. Bella struggling with their attack a bit, Manly. But then maybe we're not giving the St George defence enough credit either.
Well, that St George defence in that last set of 6 was as good as we've seen in the game, and they're starting to move forward in defence now and starting to pressure the Manly runners into hopefully making errors from their point of view.
Iro, good support from Dunford. That's not a good ball back.
And that's an error.
Scrum to go down here. The call from McCallum, knock on against Manly. Now Dunford heard a call, but he had no idea really where that ball was going to end up. Knock on against St George. 7 points is the break. Manly over the Saints. Graham Lowe wondering if they're going to shake free of this St George side. Hasler tries to. Hasler's just outside the 22. It's on the last tackle for Manly. Ridge is up in the line. Ridge, the bomb. I thought Lydiard was in front of him. South is there. McCallum must have been calling out to Lydiard, and Lydiard paid no attention. Crowd don't like it, but right from the start, Lydiard looked to be offside.
Yeah, well and truly offside here, Dave Lydiard. You can see him on the far right-hand side of the screen, at least 5 or 6 metres offside. He needed to keep his 10 metres from the receiver from South there. He didn't. As a result, a penalty goes to St George.
Still inside their 22. Osborne takes the ball well over his head. Daines, long ball out to Beattie. Turvey couldn't stop him from getting the ball away, and back to South. Ira just wrestles South to the ground.
Like a rag doll with headgear.
Tierney gets it to Gourlay, but Gourlay really didn't need that ball at all. He wasn't in a better position to receive it. Gill. Collins passed that to New just as O'Connor was about to hammer him. Gill back up the middle for Collins. They can't get away from here, the Saints.
And they can't seem to get their ball out wide of their backline either.
80 tackles in the opposition half, but it's really not showing yet, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, that's testimony to this St George defence. They are really terrorising the Manly attack and punishing their attack.
Ridge will play this about 35 metres out. Lydiard. They keep it alive. Bella now. A doer struggle here between Manly and St George. Chris White back out there off the bench. Jones. Had a number of draws in the Winfield Cup this year so far. We had a 2-all draw, Cronulla and Illawarra. And now two sides who are renowned for some of their attack really can't lay it on here this afternoon.
It really is surprising. Manly have been renowned for many, many years as a good attacking side. They've improved their defence a lot as they come up with an error there, but their attack is struggling in this match and has been down somewhat this year on previous years.
Tierney leaving the field. It was O'Connor who put her down. O'Connor was the sole, or is so far, the sole try scorer in this game. Gill. (9-8) the scrums to St George. Wayne Collin has done the trick for the Saints. He's picked up 2 against the feed. Spring running with support, much better. And Osborne gets it back to South. Now Danes. David New.
And this is the best attacking position Saints have been in this half. See if they can go on with it from here.
It's been all Manly down the other end. Danes. A little stutter before he gets it out to Goulet. Now Ridge is down injured after making a tackle. Nobody at home at fullback. Tuvey reads the situation and goes back as St George put up a bomb from Wayne Collins. But that's way too deep, and nearly ended up in the crowd. Ridge tried to make a tackle on Goulet just a few seconds ago.
He obviously put his head in the wrong spot there and paid the price for it. Goulet's a very big man.
So let's see if, in fact, here's Ridge making the tackle. Yep. That's not where you put your head.
Head in the wrong side of the body.
He copped a knee. White. Well, Manly lose it.
And Manly playing without a fullback as Ridge is still down injured.
Gill. Manly, a man missing in the front line as well now as O'Connor goes back to fullback to cover for Ridge. Dane still going. Ridge still down. O'Connor screaming out to his line to fill in the holes. Osborne gets it to Elliott. Plenty of St George players there, but they put it down now. The touch judge have got the attention of McCallum. For Matthew Ridge, who needs some assistance. Bad head cut. The restart by Jones sees Hasler trying to go from dummy half. White. Hosking. Head down. He's got through a lot of work for Manly. 11-4 they lead. Bella. Last tackle against the Sea Eagles. Lions. Awkward bounce for South. Lydiard there to put him off balance, and Lions finish him off.
Graham, you've got to ask the question of Saints. They've stated during the week publicly that they're on the lookout for Martin Offia, and in fact intend to pick him up on the draft next week. But if he'd have been playing in this match, he wouldn't have seen much of the ball anyway, because the Saints side have rarely used a back line.
He is a hungry character. I think he would have gone in search of it.
He may have made a little bit of a difference, but it still doesn't give the St George club or the St George side any justification in not using a back line today.
Elliott. Been a bit difficult with no points being scored in the second half, though, for them to use their back line from inside their own 22.
It's been very tough because territorially they haven't been in a good enough position.
Frank Stokes with Ridge off. He's now at fullback. It'll be interesting to see if he enjoys a little bit more room to move. Ronson, penalty. Inside the 5 metres against the Saints. If Ridge was there, they probably would have gone for goal from here.
No doubting that. That's quite within his range, but I believe now that Manly will be just looking to keep the pressure on and keep Saints pinned down in their own territory as the clock ticks away.
Right on the 22. 8-3. The penalties to Manly. Just over 5 minutes remaining. Jones. So we've gone 35 with no points in this second half. Hosking. The crowd roared as Hasler picked up that ball, but it was a mile forward. Even Des Hasler smiling with that one. Hosking takes it up to the line, and Hasler getting well and truly past him. Should have been a penalty.
Should have been a penalty. It was like a gridiron match, a pass off from the quarterback. Was that far offside?
Penalty against Manly, screwing the scrum. If you take it to the letter of the law, that scrum, you could nearly have penalised St George. Peter Gill breaking from it while the ball was still well and truly in the middle.
At the end of a tough match like this, scrums are always a bit of a shamble as the players get tighter and tighter, and the scrums become so loose.
11-4, time against St George. So has the possession been in this game. Possession, that is, at the wrong end of the field. Gill. That's what they've got to do, keep it alive. Knocked down by O'Connor. Beattie's over there. Beattie gets it out. And St George keep it alive. South. South's got to stay in the line now. They've got nothing to lose from here. Maybe it's too late to decide to start going out wide. Goulet tried to get a pass away. I think he lost it. No, he hung on.
The Saints have got to throw it around. They're 7 points behind. They need to score in the next couple of minutes or forget this match.
Tierney. Knocked down by Hasler. 6 more tackles. Penalty to the Saints will put them down in good position. Quick tap from Coyne. Coyne up the middle. Coyne loses it. And with it, probably the last throw of the dice for St George. With a semblance of time left on the clock, it might have been a good opportunity. But after all the good work, right at the end of it, the tackle and the arm being held out there by Lydiard just knocked the ball out.
It looked like the resurrection there of St George, but it was not to be. Fate had its hand and they lost the ball.
Stokes. That should be it now. 6 more tackles for Manly as it was knocked down. So this Manly defence again. Outstanding today. So has St George's been. But it's been defence that has got Manly home right throughout the Winfield Cup so far. Lions. Well, nobody can pick it up. Through the legs of the St George players, Graham Lowe. Looking not really happy with the performance, but it's a win. A strong one at home.
And he's also walking down there with Darryl Williams, a player that Manly could well do with out there in the paddock. A very dangerous player in attack and a very strong defender.
Hip and hamstring injuries for Williams. Wade. Only a couple of minutes remaining. Daines to Elliott. And they do catch them out wide. South. He had support on the outside. He didn't use it.
Time to shift it straight back again.
Potter. Tierney standing very wide. Turning his back, trying to get through the line. Goulet into the gap. Goulet to the corner. He'll beat Stokes. Frank Stokes had to shorten up the angle there because Goulet was always going to make it to the corner. So after soaking up so much pressure and producing such an effort down from their own line, they get a try late, but it looks as though the try will be too late. MMI replay will show right here and now Stokes had to come off the try line and go forward into Goulet, but he took him on the line.
Well, Daines here moved out from dummy half. Goulet picked the gap, hit the gap well. He's learned a lot since he's come into rugby league. He's been easily St George's best player today, and he uses his brute strength to go over in the corner.
Daines saw that there was a chance with a bit of a cutout here, and Goulet just rendered the gap superbly. Long strider, very mobile forward. He was never going to be stopped. Nearly a fumble at the end of that in getting it down, though. 22 years of age, rugby union convert. Walford from right out on touch. Do the Sea Eagles know that there is less than 60 seconds remaining? Walford won't improve on the try. Manly 11, St George 8. Time almost up. Graham Lowe peering out through the wires around the ground, waiting for that sign, that siren that the coaches love at the end of a game when they've got their nose in front.
those wires indicate somewhat of a den out there, and it really has been a den. It's been a battle of attrition, a very hard defensive game, but Manly have come up trumps based on yet again a good defensive game.
Tierney. It was a minor miracle at Cogra last week against West. I don't know that the miracle's going to happen again for the Saints. Time's almost gone. They've got to go wide again. Daines has improved things a little since he's been out there. The little chip beating, knowing that the siren's about to go. That was it. That was the last throw for the St George. They produced the try too late. Graham Lowe gets their win at home, and he produces St George's first loss in 1991. 11 points to 8 Manly over St George. O'Connor, the try scorer for Manly, 3 goals to Ridge and a field goal. Goulet got that late try for St George, 2 goals to Ricky Walford. Manly home 11 points to 8.